Hello, everyone. So, this is the first session where we're going to look at implementing an automation in Make. So, by the end of this session, you should be able to create a webhook, publish data to a webhook, and insert data into Google Sheets. So, let's kick off. So, first, we need to create an empty Google Sheet in Google Drive. So I've already created this, but you can do that in your own time. And as you can see here, I've created a folder called Make Examples, and I've also created a sample sheet, which is completely empty right now. So what are we going to do next? So we're going to create a new scenario in Make, and we want to introduce a webhook, which is going to basically this is where we're going to publish data to. And let's do this. So as you can see here from the menu, you can select webhooks and you can say custom webhook, which is the second option. This triggers when webhook receives data. So in our case, we want to publish data to this webhook. And yeah, so now we just need to click here on this button, create webhook, and this should generate a URL for us. So you can give it a name if you want to, and then you can press save. I would just say sample webhook. So now you can see that you got a unique URL which you can use later on. And let's just copy this to the clipboard. Just click on this button. And so what are we going to do next? So next we're going to publish some data to this webhook just so we can see that it can actually receive the data that we published to it. So as you can see here, Make is already listening for data just so it can determine what kind of data structure it will be. And for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to use an application called Postman. And basically, this application can be used to test your webhooks before you actually put them in some automation or in some scripts. And instead of deploying your scripts and automations, you can basically test your webhooks well in advance. And yeah, so here we want to perform a post request because we're publishing data. So let's go ahead and select the post option. And we've already copied the endpoint. So let's paste this here. Let's save this, or actually let's not save this now, but yeah, I can create another tutorial on how to basically work in Postman. So yeah, so we've selected the post request, we've entered the URL, and now we need to basically add some data to this request. So we're going to use JSON data. So if we go to the body section, we click on raw, and then by default it's JSON. So let's enter some data. So I can say name, then my name, email. Let's add some email at gmail.com, and then let's say phone number, and then I can say okay. Yep. And this is the sample data that we're going to publish to this webhook, which we created just a moment ago. And yeah, so once we've defined what kind of request we want to perform, we've entered the endpoint, and we also entered some data. So now it's time to basically press the send button and then see what happens. So let's press the send button. And as you can see, we got status 200, which means that this request was successful. And in here, we got a response saying that this data was actually accepted. If we go back to the webhook now, you can see that we've successfully tested the webhook, and Make now knows what kind of data we're going to publish to it going forward. So let's click on save. And so now that we've published the data to the webhook, then the next thing that we're going to do is basically insert this data into the Google Sheet, which we created at the very beginning. So from here, we choose Google Sheets, and then we say we want to add a new role to the Google Sheet. And in here, I've already connected to my Google Drive. So now what we need to do is we need to choose the sample sheet, which I created. As you can see from here, you can select the folder where you created your Google Sheet. And let's select the actual file, which is the sample sheet. Okay, then you need to select the sheet where you want to insert data, because Google Sheets obviously can have multiple sheets within one file. So yeah, you need to choose the sheet where you want to insert the data. So now we need to map the incoming data to different columns. So as you know, we published three different data sets, so name, email, and phone number. So now we need to tell Make where exactly it needs to insert the data, like which column it needs to insert the name into, the email, and the phone number. Yeah, I'll just put them in the order we basically publish the data. So let's do this. So we say in column A, we're going to put the name. Then in column B, we're going to put the email. And then in column C, we're going to put the phone number. So this is basically doing the mapping for you. And once we are done, then we press the save button. So now we've actually created a basic automation example for basically publishing data to a webhook, receiving data, and then inserting this data into Google Sheet. So let's run this automation. And so I guess first we need to publish data again, and then we need to run it. So let's do that. So let's click on send again. Okay, it says there's no scenario listening for this webhook, so we need to start the scenario first. Okay, yep, there you go. So we've started the scenario. Now we click the send button again to publish the data. And as you can see, we successfully published the data. So you see the webhook successfully processed the data, and it also added the data into the Google Sheet. So now if you go back to Google Drive, you can see that the data has already been inserted. And as you can see, my name is in column A, my email is in column B, and then my phone number is in column C. So I hope that this tutorial was very useful for you. And if you like it, please comment down below and let me know what kind of other tutorials you want me to create, so I can help you guys in building your dream automation or dream website. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next one.